Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I plan on talking about the Fourth Wing series, or the Empyrean Series, I believe is what it's actually called, but the first book is called Fourth Wing. I have read the two books that are published so far in the series, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and today I just plan on talking about my thoughts on the books and giving you guys my review. Talking about Fourth Wing. So this book was good. It is about a dragon college. There's this kingdom. It's kind of broken up into different, professions. There's the scribes that deal more with the intellectual and books side of things. There's the infirmary where people become healers and they heal people. Riders quadrant where they learn to become dragon riders, and they are kind of the kingdom's army, I guess you could say. So that's kind of what the book is about. It's focused on the main character, Violet Sorrengail, and she originally is going to go and become a scribe. She has a health condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It doesn't specifically say that in the book, but if you look it up online, it talks about how the author actually suffers from the same health condition, and that is the disease or the health condition that Violet does have in the book. And so it's portrayed that she's very weak, at least physically. I don't know a lot about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, to be honest, but it sounds like it has a lot to do with, the connective tissues and ability to heal and things like that. So Violet is portrayed to kind of be this weak character, and she's originally supposed to become a scribe because of this, even though everybody else in her family are writers. And her mother actually changes her mind and tells Violet that she has to go and become a writer. And so it's kind of the story of this character's journey with that, and all of these, challenges that she happens to come, even though she's kind of the underdog, so to speak, in that people don't really expect her to survive. The school is very deadly. There's lots of challenges that people have to go through. Students end up passing away or dying off at these various challenges. The very first one is they have to walk across this parapet, I don't know if I'm saying it right, parapet, in order to get into the school, and a lot of them end up falling to their deaths, unfortunately, and then once they're in the school, they have to become bonded to dragons, and sometimes the dragons off the humans that they feel might be weak, and Violet, and even kids in the school, or the people in the school, sometimes kill each other. So Violet happens to still overcome all of these challenges, despite having, this physical weakness. And she does this by using her smarts, her intelligence. Like I said, she was supposed to become a scribe, so she's got a lot of knowledge. She kind of uses that to her advantage. She kind of uses her courage, her bravery, her intelligence. So I like that the author kind of portrays that there's more than one way to be strong, and there's more than one way to be, powerful. It's not just physical ability. So I did like that in the book. The book is very fun. It's a school where people learn how to ride dragons. That sounds pretty cool, and it was pretty cool. I like the relationship that the riders develop with their dragons. These dragons are portrayed as being very intelligent. They kind of have their own society. It's more so the humans do the will of the dragons versus the dragons, doing the will of the humans. And when a rider bonds to a dragon, they actually develop their own, it's called the signet, their own magical ability, I guess you could say. They can telepathically communicate with their dragons. So I really liked all of that. It was a very fun read, lots of twists and turns along the way, lots of disability, representation. Like I said, that the main character does have a chronic illness, which I liked, coming from the perspective of somebody who has a chronic illness myself. I have type 1 diabetes, which is a totally different health condition, but it still can present some challenges. Low blood sugars, high blood sugars, take insulin, there's lots of things that come along with it. And so it's kind of nice to see, even though it's not the same health condition I have, it's nice to see a character with a health condition represented in a book like this. So I thought that was fun. There's another character who is deaf, and you actually see them communicating with her in sign language. You know, the main character and other characters throughout the book actually talk with this character in sign language, which I also thought was pretty cool. So lots of disability representation. I really liked that in the book. I didn't think it was overdone or anything. It's kind of mentioned sporadically here and there, but it's not ever like the main focus of the book. So I like that. I like that it brings awareness, but without overemphasizing that awareness. So really fun read. I did like the book. Has a enemies to lovers romance in it as well. I don't want to give any big spoilers, but basically Violet's mom is the general or the lead of this war college, and there was an uprising from another kingdom, and there are these people, these who become riders whose parents fought in that uprising, and so they're thought of as lesser. And the guy who led the main rebellion, it turns out that the main character's love, and her mom killed his dad. So he has this beef against Violet. He really doesn't like Violet because her mother killed his father. So that's really the reason they're considered enemies. And all throughout, the beginning and middle of the book, she thinks that at some point he's going to kill her, and he's portrayed as this really powerful and strong warrior. And she kind of has this fear that he's going to come after her because of what her mom did to his dad. But throughout the story, they kind of develop a little bit of a relationship, and, they end up coming together and, falling in love towards the end of the story. So it's like a little bit of a slow burn. It doesn't happen quickly. Really, they don't really do anything, and they don't really become, very close, I'd say, till more towards the middle or end of the book. But I like that. I like it when it takes things slowly and it builds up towards the romance. I really like that. So I thought that was well done as well. It did leave off on a cliffhanger, which is sometimes fun because then it makes you really excited to read the second book in the series. So overall, I would say it was a good book. I think I would rate it about a 4.25 stars. So everything about the book, I really liked it. I felt like it should have been a 5-star, but it just felt like there was something missing for me personally that just didn't have that oomph that it could have had that would have given it a 5-star for me. So I liked it, I enjoyed it, but I didn't have that strong urge where I couldn't feel like I couldn't stop reading, I guess I could say. So still a good read. I still think it's worth your time. But yeah, for me, I'd say it's probably about a 4.25 star rating. About Iron Flame. So this is the second book in the series, and it kind of picks up where the first book left off. Like I said, the first book did leave off on a cliffhanger. To explain the plot of this book, I kind of have to give a little bit of a summary of spoilers, I guess. So if you want to read the first book and you don't want to know what happens at all in the first book, you might not want to read or watch the rest of this video. But basically, that book, the first book, leaves off. There is a rebellion. It turns out the kingdom, Nevers, that they are fighting for, it turns out that they are hiding secrets against the kingdom, and they are people that they're not protecting. And Violet realizes this, and she kind of becomes part of the revolution against the kingdom. There's some events that happened at the end of the first book where they're kind of betrayed and they're kind of sent off to die, and they end up overcoming it. They kill off these evil creatures that were supposed to kill them, and so they kind of join this rebellion, but they're kind of keeping it a secret at first. They go back to Baysgith, I think is the name of the school. They go back to the school, and they're kind of continuing their second year. And then eventually they kind of do break off, and they go back off, and they kind of are against this rebellion. And that's kind of what this story is about. I will say that my thoughts on this book is I did not enjoy it as much as the first book. For me, it is a very long book. It is 623 pages, and the writing is very small and the pages are very big. And it's the same as the first book in that regard, but this book just didn't do it for me as much as the first book did. I wasn't as engaged with this book, and for me personally, it was a real slog to get through. I kind of had to force myself to keep reading. I will say it did pick back up again at the ending. I did like the ending. There are some twists and turns throughout the book. It turns out there's a character in the first book that was one of Violet's enemies, and he ends up, you know, she thinks she kills him, and then it ends up in this book he comes back to life. Her love interest, Xaden, turns out, you know, Violet meets his ex-girlfriend, and there's some, you know, drama there. So there's stuff that's happening all throughout the book. It just felt like, you know, it was really a slog, like I said, to get through. It just didn't have me, you know, real excited to keep reading until I got to the ending. And like I said, the ending was good. It did leave off on a cliffhanger, just like the first book. Kind of made up a little bit of my score, or my rating on this book. I think it kind of saved it a little bit, but not a lot. I would say I would rate this book probably a 3.5 star rating. If I didn't like the ending, if the ending wasn't as exciting as it was, I probably would have given it a 3-star rating. But yeah, this book I will say I thought was about a 3.5 stars. So overall, you know, I thought it was a good series. Not my favorite series, but I'd be interested to see kind of where it picks back up, you know, depending on how I'm feeling. You know, she is working on the 3rd book in this series right now. You know, I may or may not read it. I'll kind of have to wait and see how I'm feeling and what other books I'm reading at the time. I think that I probably will read the 3rd book in this series. I just don't know if I'll read it. You know, I'm not anxiously awaiting the publication of the 3rd book. I guess we'll just say that. That's on the Empyrean series, or Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. You guys can let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Yeah. And thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys again in another one.